Welcome to today's video. For this night adventure, I visited Anstey's Cove in South Devon. This little cove is in Tor Bay and a location I recently explored in the daytime. On my day visit, I was impressed with how photogenic this location was and knew I wanted to revisit for a night shoot on the next opportunity. I arrived just after midnight and eagerly walked the 20 minutes from the car to the water's edge, where I took a look around to decide where I would photograph first. Tonight is all going to be about making different compositions within a small and close area. I settled with this view to start with, looking north towards Long Quarry Point and the bright star Capella. The calm water and these foreground rocks also grabbed my interest in the scene. For my first composition, I carefully jumped the railings and climbed to the water's edge using these three rocks to anchor the foreground. I used the Starglow filter to help the bright stars pop. There were some ships on the horizon casting bright lights across the ocean, which I wish weren't there, but overall I was happy to kickstart the night with this first composition. I then climbed back to the concrete platform and spun my camera around to the right where Jupiter was starting to rise nicely over the ocean, casting a wonderful reflection. A simple composition which I knew wouldn't look as good in the photo as it did to the eye, but either way, a nice second photo to get from night. For my third composition, I positioned myself closer to the cliff to feature this tree. This was a composition I thought would be promising as a night image when I visited previously in the day. Unfortunately, it didn't come out as exactly as I'd hoped, but sometimes you don't know how a composition will come out until you take the photograph and review it later. I then moved towards the water's edge to hunt out a few more compositions. The first of these was this scene where I got nice and close to the foreground rocks overlooking the bay, but unfortunately a boat had moored up in the bay at this time with some bright lights, which wasn't ideal for this composition. The stars did look fantastic from this viewpoint low, and the constellation of the Seven Sisters started rising above the boat, which I thought looked interesting. Okay, so just got my next composition set up here. Quite nice, looking across the bay towards the headland. I'm actually doing star trails for this shot as well, so I've got the wide angle lens on. I've got to do about 40 minutes of star trails I think for this scene. Once that's done, there's just one more composition I want to get, but I'm racing against time a little bit. Probably got about 20 minutes left of dark skies before it starts getting light again. I was pleased with how the star trail image came out. I haven't captured many star trails recently, and it was great to try it again with this scene. I also like the foreground with the vivid green seaweed over the boulders, and the shape of the cliffs from this viewpoint looked quite interesting as well, I thought. While I was capturing the star trails, I also focused my attention on this composition. This scene to the eye looked fantastic with the constellation of the Seven Sisters just above the boat and the reflection of the boat lights and the foreground. But I did really struggle with the composition on this image, so not my favourite image from the night, but still pleased that I attempted the image. With nautical twilight fast approaching, I positioned myself up on a higher viewpoint to make a few final compositions as the skies lightened. With this composition, the zigzagging of the railings caught my eye. I like how they lead you into the scene. I do wish there was more interest in this part of the night sky though, but found it a peaceful scene to capture. This was my final composition of the night. I decided to position my camera on the other side of the railings, using them as a curving leading line into the scene. By this time the sky was much lighter, and I had boosted the contrast in the editing to give the scene a bit more crunch. Overall, a really nice peaceful night under the stars. It was great to work on a number of different compositions and not to be driving or hiking around for miles looking for different locations. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment underneath, and I hope you enjoy some clear skies.